Welcome to another episode of the Meet and Greet Barbecue Podcast. I'm by myself today as Owen has done a me and gone on holiday, but it's okay because we have a great episode lined up for you. I am speaking to T from Cooking with the Duke on Instagram and off YouTube. Now, this man has one of the best personalities in barbecue that you'll find on Instagram. He is hilarious, but he also knows his way around a kettle and does some fantastic cooks. So without much further ado, here's T. This week, I am speaking to T. So T, for anyone who doesn't know of you, please introduce yourself and what you do on Instagram.
Well, first of all, Dan, I just want to say I am very happy to be here. I'm humbled and really excited to be on your show, which I'm a huge fan of. Some people call me T-Bone, some people call me the Duke. You can find me on the Instagram. That's what you asked, right?
Yeah.
Cooking with the Duke, or I'm all over Instagram and the YouTube channel. Glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic. And I'm sorry it's just me tonight, but earlier in the season, Owen had a go at me for going on holiday, and lo and behold, he's decided to do it himself. But it's all right. We'll still have a great time. Of course we will.
Hey, you guys are working so hard. That barbecue, you've got to give your wives a break. And,
of course.
I'm sure you pack your little portable barbecues with you when you go anyway. So,
before we get into much, I saw that you made your way across to Wingfest, which I wasn't able to go to myself. How was it?
Oh, man, it was a long time coming. Sadly, because of everything that's been going on recently, wasn't able to go ahead last year like everything. But we finally made it. We went down and saw it. Fantastic, loved it. It was a great excuse to see some old friends as well. The wings were awesome. Didn't have nearly as much as I would like to have had. It was great. We won't speak about the weather, put it that way. But no, we had an absolute blast, and I'm already can't wait for next year. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing with British weather. You can guarantee that if people have been looking forward to something for over 12 months, it will thunder and rain and pour. But
Absolutely.
We get on with it, and it's great to hear that people all had a good time. And
well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we got there and it rained a little bit, and we were like, and then it rained a little bit, and we were like, and then it was just like everybody was like, okay, this ain't going anywhere. This is like biblical rain. It just came down. It was everybody was very brave, and there were some great little Oompa bands and everything going on, and this nothing could crush that British barbecue spirit. It was amazing. It was incredible. Loved it. And then you had all the wing eating competitions and all of that. Yeah, it was great. I mean, it felt after however long it is since everybody's been out, to actually get out there, see some people. I mean, I bumped into some absolute legends of British barbecue. So Artist,
oh yeah,
fantastic. Meet him. I mean, the consummate professional. I still have no idea what he looks like. I mean, you know how to photo take it with him. I don't know how he does that. I give you respect, Mr. Artist. And I also bumped into the king of British barbecue, Jay from Alton's World. So here I am standing in the pouring rain, and I just see his face coming towards me, and I'm like, I know this guy. So fantastic to meet those guys. Sadly, I didn't meet Mr. Wingfest himself, Richard, who was fantastic. He's what a man. I mean, he's the king. He's the Wingfest guy. So I promised him that I was going to get him a beer next year instead. So. Yeah.
I was so jealous because Owen and I have been saying, as you know from listening, that we've just been looking forward to being able to get out and see people. And it's great to hear that you've seen all these people actually in the flesh. It's remarkable that it's been sort of exactly. It's been 15, 16 months and no one's been able to get together, but
absolutely
it's starting to ramp up a bit now, which is fantastic.
Sure. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I mean, it's like meeting. It's like a meeting, a brother and a famous person at the same time. It's kind of like, it's the coolest thing. I pick meeting some of these guys over meeting, I don't know, who's the best actor ever in the world? Tom Cruise. Even these guys is cooler than me and Tom Cruise. If you know me, you know I'm a massive Tom Cruise fan, and everyone's like, for real, dude? Tom Cruise? Like, anyway, so.
Hey, he's doing something, right? He's been, what, like 200 films or something silly like that? He's doing something, right, to be on that much.
He needs to do a barbecue film. You know,
yeah,
where he's like,
do you know what? Although he, like, a lot of the stuff they'll be cooking is probably bigger than him. That's part of the problem.
For sure, he'd be standing next to them big smokers, and you were like, like my daughters when they're at the fire, they have to have a little stool standing. Anyway, let's not bash Tom. Anyway, so, but likewise, I mean, it's fantastic to actually be speaking to, after listening to the podcast so many times, to actually see you as well. You know, yeah, it's awesome, very cool.
Well, let's go back and kind of find out how you got into barbecuing and what it is that you love about barbecuing. Can you go through that with us?
Sure. I mean, it's been around me my whole life. Yeah, I love it. But my earliest memories is, looking up to my dad. And him standing there. I know you asked this question to a lot of people on the podcast, so I'm going to just go ahead and answer it without you answering me. But my earliest memory of barbecue is watching my dad next to that grill with the tongs in his hands, and seeing a nice tropical sort of weather day turning into like a tropical storm, pretty close to what we had on Sunday at Wingfest. But the whole time, he stood there with those tongs. He didn't move, and he carried on barbecuing. And I don't think it was much older than my oldest now. So it's probably about 5 or 6. And yeah, I'll always have that memory, just thinking, wow, this guy's badass. You know, he's just standing there out there in this tropical storm, and he's gonna finish cooking this food for us. And yeah, that's cool. And yeah, I mean, so when you're a little young dude, you learn how to step up and sort of make that fire as well. And yeah, my dad actually now doesn't make fires anymore. He's more like where you came from now. He can't be bothered to stand around and make a fire. He just wants to light the gas and just I mean, like a chimney starter to him is high tech stuff. He's like, why do you want to stand there, messing around with a fire, coals or whatever it is for 20 minutes when I can just flick a switch. My steak is done before you've even had your coals ready. So yeah, he said, no, I can't be bothered to sit there and, make a fire or something like that, because I'm hungry, I want to eat now.
I think like sometimes barbecuing, a bit like life in general, you start off somewhere, you progress, you hit a climax, then slowly you come back down, and you tend to return to where you originally started.
You come full circle, for sure.
Exactly that. And as you said, I started more gas myself on my own barbecue, but recently getting a Kamado and cooking on that's been an absolute joy for me. And it's opened up so many doors. But I can completely understand where your father's coming from. If you feel like that you're hungry now, or you've only got a short amount of time, why not use the gas barbecue? It's getting you outside, right? That's the most important thing.
Hey, we're related. We're always hungry. If he's as hungry as me, I know how hungry he is. So getting that steak done is quick. Well, medium rare is I can appreciate it. But what I did mean to say was congratulations on finally getting your monolith.
Oh, thank you. Do you know what? Owen said to me, I don't know if you can still talk about that now because you've gone on about it so long, but it was a bit of a journey in the end, should we say? Sure. But I absolutely love it. And I mean, you hear people talk about cooking on different Kamados, but I can't believe how well it holds the temperature, how long it holds the temperature for. And the results you get compared to what I'd been using before, because you've got a third area of cooking. Not only do you have like the convection of the heat moving past, you've got the direct heat from the coals, but then you also have like the dome, the ceramic, the way it absorbs the heat and fires it back at. And it just means you can do so much more. I am still learning with it. And because of everything I've heard from people giving me tips and advice, starting with small amounts of fuel and slowly building it up, because
Yeah.
apparently it's very, very easy to go full ham on it the first time and get the temperature so hot it takes a week to cool down.
Yeah.
So I've done
Yeah.
the opposite, complete opposite. But what's your setup at the moment? What are you cooking with?
I mean, what I would say is, I hope to one day. I'm very simple. I'm a very simple. I have simple needs. I'm a simple man. I don't have anything too fancy. I'm very happy with my Weber Kettle, trusty old Rusty, who's going on probably about nearly 10 years now.
Wow.
And then you may have noticed I've just recently built my sort of outdoor area.
Yeah, the shack.
My shack. Yeah. So that has been. I mean, I won't bore you with how long that journey has been, but it's been a long journey. And boy, am I happy to have seen that through. So what my shack is, I mean, it's not a shack in traditional sense that it's sort of a wooden sort of box, with. I mean, I've seen some beautiful ones. Mine is basically like a pergola kind of structure, which has a sort of a shack with a galvanized sheeting roof on an angle, so the rain hits it and will run off of it and get away from where it needs to be. And then I've got a brick sort of barbecue station built beneath it, which is in 3 sections. So you got 2 sort of table sides, surface areas, and then storage beneath it. And in the middle, you got this big sort of chimney, like a fireplace almost kind of thing, which is a kind of basically just a blank canvas. You can, taking it back to basics, basically. And it's a glorified fireplace outdoors.
Well, I was going to say, you've made like sort of like a fire cage there. So a lot of open fire cooking plans from that point of view.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this is how simple I keep it. I'll make a fire, and then some of the bricks that are left over from the construction, I just use them to put a big grate across. So if I want, to be further away from the flames, I put more bricks. If I want to be even further, I put more bricks. If I want to be closer, when the heat dies down, I just remove the bricks. It's that. I don't think you could get any sort of more simple than that. So yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fun with it already. And one of your previous guests, a friend of your show, Jürgen, from Culinary Demons. I mean, he's the fire master, and he's been giving me.
He's a genius.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy. Speaking to him, absolutely fascinated.
How amazing! Yeah, so that's somebody I can't wait to meet eventually. And he's been giving me some great tips. Like yeah. It's yeah. I mean, if you can message somebody like him, and he gets back to you, like, wow, that's awesome. I mean, basically, I'll tell you the story behind it. He recommended this this wood from Namibia, the camel wood stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll get a couple of bags of that. And I said to my wife, okay, don't worry, I'm just gonna light the fire. We do some. I can't remember even what we're doing now, because it was just a couple of weeks back now. But I said, don't worry, get the kids ready, and we sort of light this fire, and just the wood did not take. So it turns out that it's so dense, this wood, that you really have to sort of get it lit for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, so you have to really, because I said, I did get a fire, but it took, twice, maybe even nearly three times as long to actually get that fire going, that wood burnt. So he gave me some cool tips there. So so I'm having a lot of fun. We're trying all this different wood, that Baltic stuff as well. Oak. I know you're a big fan of you've got a lot of oak as well, but I'm burning it more for fire than for flavor smoking. Yeah. So I must admit I don't smoke as much. I mean, I do a pulled pork now and then, but if anybody that follows me on the Instagram, then you most likely know that I'm pretty much the only barbecue meat eater in my house. My wife is vegan, so that holds many challenges. I don't know if there's anybody that's been on your show yet.
Not yet. Not yet. I've got a few friends who are vegan who have kind of said to me, oh yeah, I'll come on. I said, that's fine, as long as we're talking barbecue. And that tends to be the stumbling block, because for some reason there doesn't seem to be that many vegans barbecuing. I don't know what it could be, but
I tell you what, I'm getting pretty good at doing eggplant. Eggplant is pretty good on the barbecue for sure. I mean, it really does force you to sort of mess around with those kind of, if you're going to be, like making,
like a dip.
Marinades and stuff like that. You're reaching for that sort of umami, like miso goes really good with that as well. So, yeah, so it definitely did, it has forced me to think outside the box, but also it has forced me to, if my wife hears me say the word forced, then she's gonna say that's not fair, but because she's like, she's totally cool. That's her decision, and my decision to eat meat. We're totally cool with that, and she's also not a preachy vegan. I've got nothing against vegans, but I mean, somebody said, "Oh, you're a bit worried if you, that's the saying. If you're gonna have a vegan around for dinner, I'm worried they won't let me know." I said, "Don't worry, a vegan will always let you know that they're a vegan." Yeah. So some of my best friends are vegan.
And you know about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So thank God my wife is, she puts up with me. No, it's cool. There's mutual love and respect. So no, it does open up a lot. So anyway, so we're saying it doesn't force me, but it makes me feel that there's a challenge to be risen to, because if I'm out there barbecuing like now, this time, especially this time of year, the minute the weather's nice, it's like, you know what I mean? Well, you guys like us, barbecue season, there is no barbecue season. And that's why I'm even like happier now. I'm not out there with the umbrella and everything like that. But when the weather's even nicer, it's without, you don't even, we're quite, we're pretty upset. We've been together for years. We're always, you say, what's for dinner? What are we having for dinner? That's what we're having for breakfast. So
food is so important, though.
It's so important.
To be fair.
So if I'm going to be out there doing all the barbecuing all the time, I don't know what, she's going to be missing out. So it does, challenge you, like, okay, well, you don't want to exclude the vegan, so you're grilling lots of vegetables and peppers, and those nice long big red peppers. Yeah. Those are so good on the grill, and eggplant, like I said, and all sorts, and tofu as well. But we'll get to that later. Anyway.
Well, you've talked about a lot of different kind of ways of cooking and what you like to cook, particularly with the family dynamic and the fact that you might need to do kind of vegan stuff as well. What is your go-to cook when you're cooking? I've seen a lot of chicken, which I love, on your feed, but do you think is that your go-to, or would you like to do something else?
I'd say go-to. It's just, like we're speaking about, what's my history with barbecue? It's just always, there's always been a beer butt birdie going on. Always, since I could turn my nose up at it, it's been going on, because, when you're young, like my daughters are, they kind of getting, my eldest is 4 and the youngest is 2. And they're, the youngest is actually a bit more like, she's like, what's under the hood? And I'm sort of like, yeah, it's a chicken, and they're like, whoa, that's awesome. But put it on the plate and they're like, nah, I want nuggets, and I want chips, every night, so, but I'm bringing them around, definitely, since we're out there, like I said, we get the little stool out, and I've got them, each one of them long ladders, so they've each got one in the same color, so they don't fight about it, which one they have, and they stand there, and I give them each a fire ladder. It's one of those, I've started, since moving out here to the West Country, I found these fire lighters that are like eco-friendly or whatever. They're not those ones that you buy in, you used to get in London that you smell it and it's like, whoa. The
white blocks of chemicals.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So these ones, they don't light straight away, so it's a little bit of a challenge to to get them, you know, so anyway, so they like these, and then I throw them in the fire, and then the fire goes on, and then straight away they just want to burn marshmallows. So so my wife, so it's cool anyway. So I got them, you know, learning to respect the fire. They're standing in front of the fire. It's a cool thing. Like, so the next step is to get them to actually eat the food that comes off of it.
Yeah.
And my wife's a bit like, you're giving them dessert before you even had dinner. So so yeah, but they love marshmallows. I mean, they could eat a whole pack of marshmallows after dinner, you know. But now I limit them to just one now, because they're very sassy and very smart. These kids. I tell you how smart my kid is. When my eldest, she knows when she does something wrong, she just says, "Daddy, I love you." This is how smart my second, because you're a dad as well.
Yeah.
This is how smart my 2-year-old is. She says to me when she's in trouble, she says, "Daddy, I love barbecue sauce." She knows. And she knows that's how I'm gonna get. She's gonna get. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, you know what? I'm so proud of you. You love barbecue sauce, even if it means just literally pouring half a bottle of Bulls out, because I, you know, look away and she's poured half of it on there. And she just eats that with nothing else. We didn't even dip her nuggets in there or anything in that. So anyway, yeah, good times.
It's all about getting the family involved, isn't it? And
For
I
sure,
mean, you know that Owen and I are very passionate about trying to get children involved. It's a great way for them to understand food, respect the fire.
Definitely.
And lighting the barbecue is just a great way of doing that.
For sure, absolutely, and that's why I've got them, you know, those things. Because if they use my little, a couple of times I got that little like Weber lighter thing that got like a little flamethrower thing.
Yeah.
Like that. I give them the long nozzle because. Are you having a beer?
Of course I am.
Oh man, that's what I was about to say. Do you mind if I have a beer?
No, please crack one open.
I've got a little what you call it? A little esky here next to me, as the Aussies call it. So here we go. Well, here we go. Let me just do the cheers.
Any old listeners might know I've got 2 drinks on tonight.
All right.
So, excuse me for a second. Cool, frog in my throat. So, I've got my alcoholic coffee, which I've not talked about for a little while. But,
yeah.
Which I've got hazelnut liqueur in there tonight, which is great, and a way of relaxing when the little one would not go to sleep. And then beer-wise, I'm drinking Club Tropicana Club Tropica, I should say now, from Tiny Rebel. Absolutely love that beer. Absolutely love it.
Yeah,
it's a gorgeous craft beer.
Yeah. You know what? I'm almost ashamed to admit this. I haven't had that.
Oh.
I've seen it all over online, and you know, even the barbecue community. But I've yet to try it. I mean, I guess they don't sell it in the stores, so
you can sometimes now find it in a Tesco's.
Oh, really?
What I would say, yeah. If you go in the craft section, they've started to having Tiny Rebel areas where they've got a few of their different drinks. So they'll have Club Tropica. They do one called Cali Pale. Sometimes you get Pump Up the Jam, which is like a jam flavored beer.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I would say. I love this drink, and also Pineapple Express I had on the weekend, which is great as well. But there's quite a few beers they do which feel gimmicky in a fun way. But I don't know if I could have lots of them.
No, that's the whole thing. I mean, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Dan. Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, exactly. It's lovely.
So you're gonna have to excuse me. I do go off on a tangent.
No, I like it.
My wife will tell you that. I mean, sitting here talking to you and having a beer, that's about my multitasking. You know, that's my multitasking being pushed to the limit. So anyway, so you asked me what's my what is
your
my
go-to cook?
My go-to.
Yeah. So
that just about ties in this beer that I just cracked here. It's a Frontier Lager.
Yeah, it was on the story earlier I saw on Instagram.
Yeah. So okay, so to tell what goes in, basically, I'll tell you. I'll try to keep this short, but about this time last year, there was a Frontier Wingfest competition, which was send us a photo of your beer can chicken, your beer butt birdie, whatever you want to call it. So I was watching it and I saw, I was like, damn, you know, this is cool. This is, you know, like I could hear, you know, T-Bone, damn, I never won anything, and I ain't even lying. I've never won anything. So anyway, I thought about it a couple of days, and then a couple Sundays later, my wife came down in the kitchen, and I was cutting up a beer box, like a cardboard beer box. She said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm making a hat." She said, "That's not going to fit you." And I said, "It's not for me." She said, "Well, it's not going to fit your daughter either, is it?" And I said, "No, it's for my little badass birdie." So I hit the beer can chicken. So yes, that is, I would say, my go-to dish, just by default. I mean, it's something that I would just always do. Like my wife we would always do a team. You know, we make a good team, and she does. We do it on a Sunday mostly. She'd do all the vegetables, and I went back, especially when she used to actually wasn't, to the dark side. She'd eat, I would do the chicken or something in the barbecue. I'd do the protein, the meat, or whatever you call it, and she'd do like everything else. Like she does. Her spuds, her roasty spuds are just, everybody says theirs are the best. I'm telling you. Hers are the best. And she makes amazing gravy. And her daddy is from Leeds, so he's a Yorkshireman. He makes the best Yorkshire puddings. Wow. So and then I can't be right. I can't literally rise to that. So when we're here, the girls love them, and we give them to Aunt Bessie's, and I put the wind up his sails, and I say like, Gaga they call him. Say, Gaga, these Aunt Bessie's, and he's like, gets very upset when I call his Yorkshire puddings, but he knows I'm just joking. Yeah. Anyway, by default, I would say the easiest thing I could almost do, almost like breathing, is a beer can chicken, because I've been doing it since I was a little boy, and I still, years and years and years and years later, I do it. I do them. That's what I do. Like, even I couldn't go to Wingfest on. I couldn't do one on Sunday. I usually do one on Sunday. I went to Wingfest on Sunday, so I came home. I was tired as hell, and I just, without even thinking, did one. And then I thought, you know what? I'm doing this podcast with, the Meet and Greet podcast. I know what I want to do. I want to send them a special batch of Grandpa's Chili Hustle. Did you get it? I forgot to ask you. Did it turn up?
So it's turned up. But it turned up as I was picking up my daughter from nursery at 4:30. So I'm picking it up first thing tomorrow.
No.
But don't worry, because I'm going to do a whole story and cook with it. So don't you worry.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay, never mind. Well, okay. So, okay, let's be in touch. Yeah. But just what I wanted to just say is that is like the beer can chicken. That's also something that's in my family. That's just something that we do. It's a so I've my dad's he's always done it, and then I've sort of, I just in his honor, I've nicknamed him the cat, so like when, because of the COVID and stuff like that, I can't see him, so like I'm showing him all these chilies that we're getting out here and stuff, so. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, you put it in, what do you call it when I put it? It's like, it's Grandpa's Chili Hustle. So, it's an excellent way to keep your chilies fresh, and I hope you enjoy it. It's
I'm not looking forward to it. I don't make enough stuff like that myself. So I grow in my garden. I grow a lot of tomatoes and things. I don't have a greenhouse. I don't really have a space for it. So I'm lucky I can get decent tomatoes. Whenever I've tried growing chili plants, I can't grow decent chilies because I can't get it hot enough without the greenhouse. But my brother-in-law grows some great chilies, and he makes a lot of sauces. But I tend to nick the chilies that I can off him. And then if I can't use them, I just stick them in the freezer and then cut them up as and when I need them and put them in then. But there's no reason why I shouldn't start trying to experiment and make sauces, because it's just another great way of enjoying them.
It's just,
you said it, so it's something that you guys have always done. And
I mean, it's a great. Like picture this: you sat down, you like a little bit of spice, and I mean, like there's hot sauce and everything like that. But if you like a little bit of like you grab a chili that you've grown, for example, or something like that, and you put it on your plate, and you slice it up, and then you mix in your food. This cuts out all that, and you just have a dollop out of it. It's just hot and ready to go, and straight to the plate, and it's awesome. And plus, so if you make your, I've only just recently discovered chimichurri.
Yeah,
sounds a lot like.
Yeah.
I told you I'm always hungry. There's this little fat man inside. Everyone says, "What?" I said, "Yeah, there's this little fat man inside me called Jimmy Cherry." So he sounds a lot like the chimichurri. So yeah, I've only just recently discovered that. And I tell you what, if you make that, do you make that chimichurri stuff?
No, I don't. I don't make enough stuff, really. I should do.
Okay, so it goes amazing with the steak. I know you like your tomahawks and everything like that. And I meant to say those ribs you did the other day looked fantastic. For a first, yeah, I seen that was your first time you did that.
That was the first time I'd done that on the Komodo.
On the Komodo.
Yeah, on the monolith.
The Komodo.
So, yeah, Komodo.
Now that you go on, you're not calling that anymore. You're in the club now.
I am. I'm in the club, and I'm bored of Owen laughing at me whenever I used to say it. So I stopped. But I'd done them before on the kettle, and they were really good, but I found them a lot of effort to maintain the heat and make sure I was smoking it and everything.
Yeah.
Whereas those ones that I did the other week on the monolith, I got it set to temp, worked out the temp, got all the I want to call them valves, but like shutters and everything to the right position to hold the temp I wanted at about 225 Fahrenheit. So what's that, like 110 Celsius roughly, something like that?
Well, yeah, it's low and slow.
Yeah, and once I'd got everything set up and the ribs on there, and I also did pork ribs at the same time. So I had
double trouble,
and the pork ribs on the right. I actually took my daughter to soft play.
Oh wow!
That's how consistent that was. And I was out for probably about 3 hours. And I know spritzing's important, but I don't tend to spritz in the first 3 hours. If I'm doing like an 8-hour cook, I'll just give it 3 hours of smoke untouched, because I don't want to accidentally ruin the bark by getting too much of the fluid on there. Once that's set a little bit, and it was perfect. And there's no way I would have been able to do that on my kettle. But then I didn't have a big brand kettle. On your Weber, you might be able to maintain that sort of heat for a long time without too much faffing. But you said you don't really do low and slow that often.
Well, it's just because if I'm gonna, it's been a long time since I did a brisket or a pulled pork, because it's just me gonna be eating it, and the freezer is full of all that stuff you got from the Aldi's that is vegan. So if I do like a big brisket or something like that, I'm gonna be forced to eat it, and
I'm not hearing any bad things. There's no problem with that.
Sure. No, it's been a long. The last time I did a brisket, I actually cheated. I did an easy little sort of. I think it was about a 2 kilo rolled one that I did in the pachi pot, which is like a cast iron pot, and
holds all the liquid and everything.
Yeah. And that it was like a pulled Briscoe, and that was that was good for me, because that's pretty good with when you're doing a pot like that. You don't really need to keep the temperature too consistent. You just need to cook her up, But I cooked her up in that pot for a long about at least 10 hours. So it was, when I pulled it, it was delicious. And I had that on tacos, and it's like that kind of beer taco kind of thing. And oh man, that's so good. I gotta do that again. Yeah, and that's easy brisket, you know what I mean? So and I did it in a kind of a jus, which is I remember your what was that fellow? He was earlier in your 365, 26. He was a chef fella.
Yeah, 256 barbecue.
256. That's it.
Ross,
I remember him saying that he preferred to do it, instead of smoking it like that, he preferred it in a jus kind of thing like that as well. And in a way, I do kind of agree with him in a way, because it's like it's a lot easier for a start. You can get as drunk as you like for a start, and you just sling it in a taco, or so good. And then, yeah.
Like you don't get that much brisket over in the UK compared to like you would in North America or anything. And for that reason, I'd like, as a nation, we're nowhere near as educated on how to cook them. The butchers trim them and cut them and prep them in a completely different way as well.
Yeah,
and
but that's changing. That's changing.
Yeah, that is improving.
You know, like with this whole like British barbecue invasion. It's I mean, it's real cool. It's a real cool. It's a cool wave to be on, you know, like, it's, you know, like, I feel like we're all like, you know, we've all met up and now everybody's going out there and we're gonna party down. So
on the 20th to the 22nd of August, the UK's largest barbecue festival will be hitting Colchester for 3 days of all things grilling, music and family fun. And if that wasn't enough, the British Barbecue Open Championships will be held there, where teams will compete in numerous rounds of barbecue classics for the panel of judges to crown the best British barbecue team.
To find out more and get your tickets, visit smokeandfirefestival.com/tickets. We can't wait to see you there.
So I gather you're going to the Sizzle Fest?
Yes, we are. Where Owen has decided that we've worked hard, so he's going to treat us. And by treat us, he means treat me. So he's got tickets, and he said, we're not to work when we're there, but we know as soon as we get there, it's just going to be talking to people. We're going to be handing out stickers and things. And we're going to have the weekend in Southampton, and we cannot wait. And it's going to be great because Smoke and Fire is very different. It's a bigger site. There's going to be some of the biggest names cooking there in Colchester, which is going to be phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But then the Sizzle Fest, you've got all the big personalities, which I think is completely the different flip of a coin. I think one of them is going to teach me much more about cooking over a short space of time. The other one is just going to feel like the amount of endorphins that we're going to get from seeing, speaking to, and being able to have a beer together and relax, enjoy it. And really, you could argue that's the bigger part of barbecue. Barbecue is about bringing people together, and that's what we're looking forward to. And that's what you experienced with the Wingfest as well recently.
For sure. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that I will be seeing you there, and I got a little scoop, a little exclusive for you for this podcast episode. I just been speaking to Chris Big Nose, and he said, you know, and James and Court, they said, come on down to Sizzle Fest and bring your guitar. So I'm gonna.
Oh wow!
So I am honored, pleased, and proud as punch to say that I will be there. Give it a little bit of that Duke tunage.
Amazing. Well, this is the other thing I wanted to ask you about as well. I said it at the start, but I love the personality that you bring to your Instagram because, you know, everyone's obsessed with food, and because of that, most people's content is food. But you can't look at what the Duke's doing and not smile. Not only are you cooking, but you're singing, you'll do live sing-alongs, you'll be making jokes. Like that personality really shines through. And
thank you very much.
Which comes first? Is it the way you cook inspires how you act and makes you excited? Or is it just that you are such a bright and bubbly person that the cooking becomes fun as well?
Well, I just don't take myself too seriously. Anybody that knows me, you know, I mean, I get excited about barbecue, you know, I get excited about beer. I mean, if you know, on my Instagram profile, it just says, you know, it's summed up with 4 words. It's dad, dude, beer, food. And that's pretty much what you pretty much, if you say those 4 words, you get stuff. I did want to add chili and guitar, you know, but it didn't have the kind of ring to it. So I wanted to hear that's me. First and foremost, dad, then a dude, beer, and food, you know. So just you know, you know, you meet all these guys. There's Barbecue Fred over, hey Fred, in Germany. And he's got his little thing is Hakuna Matata, you know, and I'm like, you know, what a wonderful phrase. You know, like I don't take myself too seriously. I know a lot of people that do, and they're not fun, you know. So
you can't enjoy yourself. You cannot enjoy yourself if you can't laugh at yourself.
No,
frankly.
So yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, and you know, I'm more than happy to make fool out of myself for the sake of a laugh, you know. So, but no, it's but at the same time, I'm very serious about cooking and food, you know. So, but also, you know, I've always, you know, I've never really been into social media, you know, like when Facebook started years back. It was a bit of fun to, and I bowed out pretty quick because I was like, nah, it's not for me. So basically what happened was, I would consider myself a Londoner because I've lived there for years and years and years, and some good friends of mine, because we live out in the West Country now, because my wife is from Somerset, so we live kind of nearby to there, in a little town called South Gilly. So when we moved out here to South Gilly, I had some of my buddies over, and I was making them. We did ribs the first night because I know that, you know, they're going to come over and they're going to have to wait for ages and ages and ages to get my ribs. But I know that two things, you know, I always said, you know, you're going to be so hungry and you're going to be so drunk. These ribs are going to taste like, you know, like amazing. So anyway, so we did ribs. And then I always bring her home the next night with my specialty, which is an Italian puttanesca dish, which is a real simple, but if you use good ingredients, make your own pasta, it does make a real good sort of showpiece. So anyway, so my buddy Roadkill Stu, who was lucky, hi Stu, if you're listening, I was fantastic to see him on the weekend. I haven't seen him for a few years now. So he came to Wingfest with us. So anyway, so I'll try to keep the story short, but he said, you know, how do you make, you know, you need to show me how to make this, because he wanted to impress this girl. So I said, okay, I'll write the recipe down for you, whatever. And it just so happened that at that time he was showing me this little app on his phone that was called InShot. And I was like, well, cool, you can make little movies on that. So my medium's always been music, audio. But so I was like, cool. Like, so I was messing around with it. And I thought, you know, bye, Stu, see you later, see you, God knows when again. And a couple of weeks later, I thought, you know what, I'm going to make him a little video. So I made a video cooking, and I called it Cookin With the Duke. And I got real inspired, and he kind of ran away with me. And I did about 10 videos. And then I watched it back, and then after a while, I just thought, you know, this is stupid. I'm a jackass. And I shelved it for a couple of years. And he came over again to visit a year or so later, and we got drunk, and you know, everyone's in bed, and it's just the two of us up. And I said to him, you know, hey man, look at these videos that I made. I want to show you. He said, they're totally lame, but you know, let's see what you think. And he watched them. And he was like, hey, these are pretty good. So then then I thought, you know what, you know, Cookin With the Duke YouTube channel. And then and then I put them all up there, and then I did a few more videos, and then somebody said, go on Instagram to sort of meet like-minded people and stuff. And then I realized, I was like, no, I can't do social media. Like Instagram is something, you know, that's not for me. But I hit Instagram, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. You know, like straight away, I just got into meeting all these barbecue dudes, you know, and, you know, I'm humbled that they consider me, you know, somebody that they would want to be in touch with, because I'm not a barbecue dude. I'm just a dude that barbecues. If that makes any sense. But no, the passion is absolutely for real, man. I love it. And you mean like moments like these? I'm sitting here talking to Dan, man, from Mean Green Barbecue podcast. I can't believe it. I'm really, I'm stoked to be here. I'm sitting here like actually involved. It's fantastic. Thank you very much for having me.
No, it's great, and I'd agree with you. I think if you looked at myself and Owen on the podcast, Owen is a barbecue guy.
Oh yeah, he knows his stuff for sure.
Yeah. But then likes to have a laugh and a talk about it, whereas I very much like to have a laugh and love food. And,
for sure, 100%.
Two bounces completely.
That's, no. Yeah, you guys make a. I wouldn't say odd couple, but I'd say no. I shouldn't. But you guys are chalk and cheese, as my mama would say. Yeah. And you know, the way you you compliment each other. There you go. Yeah, there's a compliment. You compliment each other.
Rare that I get compliments. It's weird.
No, it's great. I mean, one night, I don't know how I heard about. I mean, obviously it was on Instagram, but I don't know who turned me on to you guys. But I was like, oh yeah, I'll have a listen next time I'm out now. And straight away I was like, this is good. I'm in. I actually have to admit, I realized that I missed the very first one when it was just the two of you.
Yeah.
I thought I'd heard it, but I listened to it today and I realized I hadn't. And like we were talking about going full circle, I feel the same as like, okay, this is filled in the blanks, because in the beginning you actually were only cooking with gas, and you know, and there was that dynamic already straight off the bat. I've lost count how many how barbecues Owen has now, but and then you come in swinging now with that monolith. So
yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny that first episode, we weren't even sure originally if we were going to actually broadcast that. We had the idea of wanting to do the podcast, that we both have a history in media, and I had a history in radio, and we said, right.
Yeah, I never realized that. You said that.
And we just said, right, we'll sit down and we'll record us having a conversation. And if we think it sounds better than drivel, then we'll run with it. We'll run with it and see how it goes. And we enjoyed it. And we thought maybe people would like this, but it would be better if we interviewed other people. And that's kind of how it went on. But one of the things that we'll come straight onto as well now is we argued, not argued is a strong word, but we talked a bit about the barbecue fails. And this is where Owen prides himself on his barbecue, and we celebrate the fails because he
always gets real quiet when this comes up, and you're always happy to just throw your hat in. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is the thing. Owen likes to be seen as a perfectionist, and he is. He will spend hours tweaking things, and if you ever get the chance to have him cook for you, it's amazing. Because of that. But at the same time, he finds it more difficult to open up about when he's made a mistake, unless he's got a beer or two in him. Whereas I'm the opposite. I would prefer talk. Yeah, I have no pride whatsoever.
Hey man, you're preaching to the choir here, buddy. You see me, what a fool I make of myself. So yeah, for sure. But I mean, I love your when you're speaking about your fails, it always comes from a great place, and you know, like we'll always learn from that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. But I've already had one. I've already had one on the Kamado. Already had one. So this would have been the second cook that I did. I got a pizza stone as part of the pack that arrived. I was like, right, I want to do pizzas. I want to treat this almost like a wood fire oven. Yeah. First thing is that there's lots of arguments online about whether you should use heat deflectors on a Kamado if you're cooking pizza, because it distributes the heat differently. But of course, a pizza stone technically is a heat deflector.
I thought you'd just swap it out, sure.
And that's what I'm going to do the next time. So I've done pizzas again tonight, and they went perfectly well. But I feel like I couldn't get as hot with using a deflector in there as I wanted to get. But the first load I did, I got it to about 350 Celsius. Put the deflectors in like I read, and the temperature dropped to about 200, 225, and I couldn't get it much higher, and I didn't want to throw a load more fuel on there, but I was like, it's fine, I can work with this. Did the first pizza for my daughter, fantastic, came out great. Took longer than I thought, but it wasn't as hot. Second one for my wife, fantastic, great, gave it to her. Mine, bearing in mind it's the first time I've used a pizza stone, I was like, I don't want a small pizza, I want a big pizza. So I get this thing sorted, transfer it across to the what's it called, like the paddle, or effectively what you use. Loaded it all up with toppings. Took too long doing that. So when I came across to the actual pizza stone, almost like a slight dip where you need to get into the stone. I could not get this pizza off the actual And as I flicked it, the pizza literally went arse over top and landed face down on this pizza stone.
Oh no.
And I could not get it off. And I was like, I'm gonna have to wait until it's cooked. I'm gonna have to wait until it's cooked. I gave it 10 minutes, still couldn't really get loose. Gave it 15, and I was like, right, finally I can start to get this together. Once I got it off, it tasted fine. It just looked like someone had butchered a calzone. The pizza stone itself,
it was hot for it.
Oh my word, this thing.
Well, that's the thing, they retain the heat, don't they?
Yeah.
So, I'd imagine, so probably best off next time you wake up like you're going to do like a big cook and light her up and then wait for a couple of hours for it to be ready.
Like, what have I, so I got over my fear today, and I did it,
Yeah.
and it came out great. And the pizza I did for myself was stuffed crust. There was a few things I did wrong.
I bet if you go out there now, it's still warm.
Oh God, yeah. It's
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to put a cover on it until tomorrow. Not
Yeah.
gonna be able to put a cover on until tomorrow. But the few things I did wrong was I didn't put enough flour, or I've been using polenta to stop it sticking on the foil. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But
The
also,
peel,
the peel. And I just, it doesn't matter if a pizza stone looks bad because they get stained over time anyway.
It's a
But
badge of
luckily
honor,
for me,
my friend. You should see mine.
two-sided though. Mine is two-sided, so I flipped it.
Oh yeah.
I just couldn't believe I'd done that, as well as I'd taken loads of photos and things before. I was like, this looks great. Wow. So
yeah, you can see a pizza stone that's never been used before. Yeah, for sure. And
that was a week ago.
Terrible.
A week ago I did that. So that's my most recent barbecue fail. And you live and learn, because as I said, I nailed it tonight, which is great. Smaller pizzas, more polenta to stop it from sticking. You're laughing. Oh, and also I've raised the pizza stone slightly, so there's not the lips of contention.
You don't have to dip down. Yeah. Oddly enough, my wife, bless her, she got me an uni for my birthday. And I've actually never I have to put my hand up and say I've never actually done less pizzas since I've done the uni. Basically, I mean, I used to do them in the oven, because you just can't do them in the Weber. I mean, I threw a absolute one time, because I've always been obsessed with pizza. I love pizza. You know, the first time I ever went to Rome, I was like, I mean, my favorite pizza this is how much I love pizza. The day we left Rome, I had to go. I couldn't, Rome, when you go in the little back alleys and you can't find your way, especially when you're full of moraine. And so I said to my wife, I said, look, we need to have pizza. Our flight is at 4:00. We need to go. I want this capricciosa pizza made for me. Again, I need to have it. So we went, and the capricciosa's got an egg in the middle, and it's got ham, and it's got artichokes, and it's got mushrooms, and it is it's absolutely. I mean, I don't very often have egg on a pizza, but if you're in Italy and they think it's cool to do it, then So I had this whole pizza, and I was like, this is like the best thing I've ever eaten. And on the way to the airport, I went back to that restaurant, and the same thing. I got it. I've never been so full in my life. I can eat. So I love pizza. So anyway, my first job was, I was probably about 13, and always taking calls at like a little garage that was an illegal pizza / they sold unlicensed liquor, and I was taking phone calls, and I was, we didn't actually use our own dough. We had like ready to go bases and stuff. My buddy had made he was a little bit older than me, and made a big, actually really huge, when I think about it, this big pizza oven. So pizza for me it's been like that. I've done everything. I've delivered it. And anything that there's pizza got to do with pizza, I've done it in one way or another. But so doing, getting that dough right and everything like that's the one thing I never actually got right. So I've tried to do it in the barbecue, the Weber kettle, but obviously I don't have a Kamado or anything like that gets those real hot temperatures. But the last time I tried it in the Weber, I put like almost like a 5K bag of briquettes in there, because I thought, you know what, I'm going double trouble with the chimneys, and I put 2 in, and I was like, I'm gonna get this pizza. I want barbecue pizza, and it still didn't work so good. So my wife, bless her, she did end up getting me an uni, and I haven't mastered that out. And I'm not making myself sound really good here, but I'm being honest. I guess this is a fail, maybe. So I've only used the damn thing a couple of times, but I have since got Mr. Russell Davies. Hi, Russ, if you're listening. I saw him. He did some pretty good pizzas the other day, and he said, somebody said to me, use pellets, right? So I've been using pellets, and you get that optimum temperature, because you get her up to like 500 degrees. Boom, you whack her in there, do one pizza, and then it's dipped. So you got to, and it's faff, and you got a couple beers in you as well. It's like, oh God. So I know whenever I suggest to my wife, let's do pizzas, I see that like little twitch in her eye, you know, like. So I'm laid off, but I think now, I think I'm ready. I've got that. Russ, he recommended I get this. I said, what is that exact fuel you use? So he said, use this Selecto oak wood. So bought a couple boxes of that. So I'm ready to. Basically, I haven't done it because my axe is blunt as hell. So I need to sharpen her up. You know, I guess you could say I got an axe to grind, but I got yeah. I got to sharpen her up, or I'm gonna get a new axe because I need to chop those up to get them in the little what do you call it? The little the box in the back. There's an actual name for it that escapes me now. But to get her in there and get that fire hot, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But yeah, so I've never eaten since I've gotten that goddamn uni. I mean, I waited for about a year because when we wanted to get one, they're sold out because everybody over lockdown. A lot of people they did quite well out of it. So it's a beautiful little piece of kit. Yeah, but I've already managed to make that piece of stuff also look like, you know, like a bit of a disaster piece because of yeah, because you got to make sure that you've got, you know, enough plantain or semolina or anything like that on you. Yeah, anyway, so
it's amazing the difference that sort of thing makes, but you wouldn't know without talking to people. It's not obvious at all, and it doesn't come on any sort of instructions or anything. So that was what annoyed me. I was like, I'd read everything. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. Until you actually turn your hand to it, it's you never know until you do it yourself. That's it. The last time I used it, I did about 7 pizzas, and about 5 of them were pretty good. So it was real dark in the middle of winter, so I couldn't get any good photos. So I thought, I'll get some good photos next time when the light's better. But there you go.
Have you had any other fails which you've learned from and have changed your cooking?
Well, I mean, I was waiting for you to ask because I was thinking, oh no, you're gonna have this barbecue fail question. My most recent one was with doing the tofu one. So like I said, I got to really up my game to include my wife and make her a part of it. So I'll have the steak. Luckily as well, she's not one of those ones that is happy. She's happy for me to, you know, as long as I switch tongues. She's happy to share the grate with me, you know what I mean? So as long as we keep it, you know. But the other day she was like, your steak's touching my sausage. So like, yeah, I mean, I think that it, you know, if you're vegan and stuff like that, it's never been a better time, like, you know, because the choices out there are better. But so one thing that I think is quite good and a bit of a challenge to do is the tofu things, because it really acts like a sponge, that stuff. So if you get the good stuff, you don't get the silky one, you get the other one, I forget what it's called. You make a real good marinade and you get it done overnight, so it really sucks everything up. If you get that done on the barbecue and you get it like crispy on the outside and then it's real soft on the inside, that can be really delicious and a real nice sort of mouthfeel to it, which all of that I did not get last time. I didn't have time to marinate it and stuff, and I was so I had this really nice, beautiful, big fat rump sat next to her, and and she had this rubber. Basically, I was like, "How's your tofu, darling? Is it any good?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine, T. Yeah, it's, you know, enjoy the steak, you." Beep, 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 beep. But I was like, well, at least the eggplant's nice, right? But you can really get a good result out of it. You just need to really, you know, I think you don't want to burn. You gotta nail that time while it's on the grill. You can't like a steak, but you can, you know, if you cook it just a little bit too over, it's ruined. So it can come out like a sea anemone or something like that. That's been on the beach too long or something. So yeah, so that's my fail. my most recent fail. So not too bad, but I did feel kind of bad for my wife, bless her. But hey, that's what God invented, hot sauce for, right?
Yeah, and I also think that it's worse when you fail for someone else, or at least I personally
sure.
like. If I mess up something for me, I can get over that. I'll be annoyed at myself. My wife might not agree, but I'll be annoyed with myself. I'll be fine with it. Whereas if you mess up for someone else, not only do you feel the guilt, but you won't hear the end of that story for a long time. That'll get brought up in 6 months, a year, 2 years. So that's why never try something for the first time if you're inviting people over. That's the one lesson I would say for anyone who's getting into barbecuing. It's great to cook to other people, particularly now that we can start seeing people and open up, but do not try something for the first time when you're cooking for someone else. God, it will break you. Is what I'd say.
yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking about pride, right?
Yeah.
So, I did do some sort of beef ribs for my dad once, and it was just, you want a little bit of fat content, right? I guess I didn't really trim it. Excuse me. I guess I didn't really trim her up too good, but I cooked these things for hours and hours and hours, and there was just so much fat in them. And my dad, I like a little bit of fat in mine, but my dad was like, "Were they meant to be like this?" You know what I mean? He didn't say anything, but I could tell. I was like, "Yeah." So so that's because there was this. I don't think. That wasn't a particularly good day, but that was a few years back now. I think I've perfected that a little bit. Actually, you'd be the one to speak to. So I actually currently, as we speak, I've got a couple of shorties in my freezer. Basically, I went to there's a local shop here called Rose, and they had these big fat beef shorties like. With the yellow tags on them, like half price. I was like, I'm having all these. So but I knew I had to sort of get my head into the game. And when I want to cook these, I want to make sure I do them right, because that is my nemesis. I've never got them right. I've done just the shorties themselves even. I've got them okay, but I've never got them to the point where I've thought these are pretty incredible. So could you give me one tip?
First off, is it a rack or are they cut up separately?
No, they're separate.
They're separate. So I've mainly done racks, but in theory, it's the same rule. Low and slow. If you can get the barbecue at if we're talking about Celsius, 110, 115, and you're looking for an internal temperature of about 95 Celsius, but don't force it. Give it time. And again, people talk about the spritzing's important, but if you want a good bark to set in, you need to give it at least 2 hours, arguably 3. For the smoke to set in, because if you spritz too early, it can have an effect on the sort of bark that you get. Also, resting is so important. And we actually got a great tip from Boss Hogs, which Owen and I looked at each other when he told us this, Rob. So forgive us, Rob, because you were right. And he said, one of the best things you can do is rest something in the oven on the lowest temperature.
I remember that. Yeah.
And Owen and I looked at each other and said, what? And he's like, yeah. So I found out my oven actually goes down to 30, which I'd argue is probably too low. 30 degrees Celsius my oven will go to. So I did mine on 45, but I went over Owen's and he did a brisket and he rested his in the oven for 3 hours at 50 degrees Celsius wrapped. And that was like butter.
Wow.
So
was that the one? Because I think he said after that you were talking, you were going to go and he was going to do that for you.
It was that exact one, and he was gobsmacked because he was petrified he was going to ruin the thing because it cooked much quicker than he was expecting. This brisket, he was thinking it's going to be 10 or 12 hour cook. I think it was a 3 kilogram brisket, and it hit temperature about 7 hours. And he was like, I'm not even expecting people over for 6 hours. What am I going to do? So, but it was a dream, that brisket. It was an absolute dream. And
so what time did he get up to do?
He got up, he lit the barbecue at 3 a.m. And we were coming over at 2:30, and his intention was to serve us the brisket at about 4. And instead, what happened was the brisket was ready at about 10 a.m. and 10 or 11.
That's a Briscoe bonus, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You can have it for sort of brunch, and then you can dig on it for dinner as well.
And then I think he said he gave it half an hour out of the oven, and then he thought, you know what, stuff it, because he was really worried about how it was going to turn out. But it was, and just left it in there until we ate, and it was a thing of beauty, gorgeous. But the one thing I would say is keep an eye on that internal temperature, because if they're separate from a rack, it could cook quicker. much quicker than I think that it would. But yeah, low and slow, look for 95 Celsius internally, and then rest them. You shouldn't be able to go wrong with that.
Just awesome.
While I think about it, should we play some BBQ Bingo?
Oh, hell yeah.
Right. Owen is the one who normally does this. So let's see if I can get this to work. So let me hit screen share. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Always wondered how you guys did this, whether you actually just had like a chart
a wheel behind us. Yeah, spoiler alert, cool. I had the sound effect afterwards, but hey.
All right. That's cool. Well, this is a trip, man, and we're about to play BBQ Bingo. I've really actually been thinking a lot about, the Sizzle Fest boys, the Sizzle Show boys. They got the jam, and I mean, 5 days a week I have peanut butter and jam on my toast. So every morning since, I've thought, what can I do? Because I want to do that one as well as what we got today. So.
Well, that's inspired me, because I put peanut butter on there for that very reason.
Oh, really?
That we had jam. So what I've, for anyone who hasn't maybe listened to the show before, hasn't watched it, if you're watching on YouTube, every single week we ask our guests to cook with an ingredient that is picked at random on a spinning wheel. And we ask them to put something together based on the ingredient we give them, stick it on Instagram with the hashtag BBQ Bingo and share it, and we'll share it too. And the idea is to hopefully get people to either A, show off their skills if something that they love comes up that they're used to, which is why we have my signature dish on there, or signature dish, but also to push people out of their comfort zone, because we all like to show off and we all have pride in what we can do. But if someone gives you something a bit left field, you have to think on your feet. So some of the items we've got on there, which are a bit different this week, we've got pecan pie.
Wow.
We've got cashews on there, leg of lamb, because we've been speaking about a lot about that, but also Marmite.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, Marmite is definitely something that we incorporate a lot with the vegan side of things, because that gives it that little, you know what I mean? It gives a nice, you put that in a marinade. I mean, it works good with meat as well, as just going on tofu and stuff like that.
Now, the things that I hope will come up after our conversation: Yorkshire pudding, considering you said that you don't rise to that occasion.
Literally, yeah.
And do you know what? I love your beer butter chickens. I haven't done one myself. I keep threatening to do one, and I will do one soon. But I tend to fall back into spatchcocking just because that's normally how I cook.
I love that. I mean, since that was the very first thing I did, basically, I did all the woodwork and all that on my shack. Everything else, the brickwork was my brother-in-law, James, AJ Dog, if you're listening. He did all that. So, I was like, okay, cool. Like, he's done. And I'm like, cool, okay. And he's like, you gotta wait a week. He's gonna set properly. And I was like, damn, I thought it was gonna be dry like tonight. So anyway, I was like, bummer. Okay, but anyway, I waited a week, and that was the first thing I did. I thought I was spatchcock the breading, and I cooked there over. So I mean, I wasn't finished the shack at all, but we were good to have a fire on there. I couldn't resist, and I got that Glow Baltic. The round kind of, I forget what they're called now, but they're like kind of cylindrical kind of birch logs, and I did a spatchcock. Got a little spatchcock Shazamness over that, and it was a glorious first cook. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's something I'll never forget. I don't do spatchcocks too much, but they're also great in if you do a spatchcock, you put it in a skillet, and then you pour beer all over it.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you have like a drunken birdie. That's pretty good. And then something I tried the other day, you just put a chicken, bam, in the skillet in the middle of the kettle and just shut her up, and then it cooks like real quick as well, and like a roast barbecue birdie. That was surprisingly good. Something I don't really do because I just, basically a beer can birdie is just a perfect excuse to crack a beer can, really.
Well, who needs one? Who needs one?
Yeah.
But we've just been talking about beef short ribs as well, and that's on this list. So there's a
so
few things that.
So you got beef short ribs, you got
leg of lamb
dish.
Yeah, signature dish, Marmite,
yeah.
sweet chili sauce, salmon.
Salmon. I tell you what, that's something we used to have a lot before my wife turned to the dark side. That was something that we considered healthy. Oh man, even if you just got those little fillets, and you put them on the coals in foil with a bit of apricot jam. Again, put a bit of apricot jam there, some chili slices. Oh man, that comes out so good.
Well, I tell you what, let's spin this wheel, shall we, and see what comes up.
All right, let's go. Let's do it. I'm pumped. Please, here we go.
Oh, leg of lamb for a second.
Oh, yes. Oh, for jam. Oh, man, I'm going to get my shazlam this song.
For a second, I thought that was going to land on beef short ribs after what we've just been talking about. I thought if he gets this wrong, that's on me. That's not on anyone else. That's on me now.
No, I think a leg of lamb. Oh, yeah. I think I know what I'm going to do already. I think I'm going to do, like, I've seen a lot of, because you could go like the traditional with the plugging in the rosemary and stuff like that. You butterfly and stuff like that as well, but I think I'm going to keep the bone in and I'm going to rub her up with some kind of curry flavor, and that's going to be good. And then I'm going to serve her up with, like, I don't know, couscous or something good like that, and get the eggplants on the side. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think I got lucky for sure.
The thing is, like, I don't cook anywhere near enough lamb, really, for a Welshman who loves his lamb. My wife doesn't like it. My daughter's still young.
Owen doesn't like it at all, doesn't he?
No, Owen doesn't like it at all, which I keep saying to him, I think he hasn't had a good one. That's the problem. I think he hasn't had a good one.
I tell you what, one of my other earliest barbecue memories is running around and my parents having these parties, and they had like a lamb on a spit. And like a whole lamb on the spit, and you just have lamb for days, and that is incredible. I mean, like, like some tastes stay with you. I think I couldn't have been older than 5, but I could still taste that lamb. You know what I mean? It was incredible. And I think this was the days, you didn't rub that stuff up. You just slung it on the spit, and it just turned for hours and hours and hours. And I mean, lamb on a spit. I mean, that's incredible. So I'm looking for a couple of my wife's friends. We're going to be going to Somerset in a couple of weeks' time for a birthday party, and I think we're getting a whole hog, which I'm pretty excited about. Yeah, because one of them is a pig farmer, so I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, because the last time they did it, we went there and nobody told me that they were doing it, and I just come from a Sunday roast, so I was like, "You kidding me? You got to do the whole hog?" And I'm stuffed full of like Yorkshire pudding and beef, like. So so I'm pretty excited about this. Rumor has it that they're going whole hog. So I like those big epic cooks, especially when I don't have to do them. Like, although I did help them, with the way they did do these hogs, is they literally just put it on a, it's not turning. Everybody's a team effort. Everybody's got to swivel it. Yeah, and then you got to sling all the coals underneath like that. So I got hands on with that, even though I wasn't, I was like, well, if I'm not going to eat it, at least I want to get involved, like helping to get it done, so. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, like, when you think about it, especially now, like, the way my wife thinks about food, and she reminds me about my food and stuff. So you got like these pet pig, because he's not a professional pig farmer. He just keeps them as pets, and it's kind of weird. It's like, imagine I don't know if you own any pets or anything like that, but your dog or something like that, you wait for it to get to a certain age and you're like, right, I'm having you for dinner. You know what I mean?
So they never name something you want to eat.
Yeah, no, but they do as well. Yeah, it's crazy.
But
so,
that is showing uttermost respect for the animal, isn't it? It's bring it up like a family member.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
It's had a yeah, but it's crazy. Yeah, for sure.
Well, look, we've talked quite a lot about barbecue, and we always give our guests the opportunity to either talk about something that they want to chat about around barbecue or ask us a question. So what would you like to talk about?
Yeah, more barbecue. I mean, what else? Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm pretty simple. Like when it comes down to, I like trying all little different things like that. This will be a great excuse for me to do the curry lamb leg, and you know, it's something I have to do, right?
Yeah.
You know, like,
you have to.
So saying, like, look, I have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, so you know, like there's a couple of lambs just down the road from us here. I won't tell them. So I mean, yeah, it's easy to eat a lamb when they go like that, because you know, like, you know, Baba black sheep is very far fetched. They don't bar, they these ones. So anyway, so yeah, hopefully I'll be able to. I'm gonna locally source a nice big lamb leg and get it going. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, for sure.
And one thing that I haven't asked you, actually, we talked about your go-to, but what would be your ultimate barbecue meal?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that. My ultimate would probably be, well, I could say, you know, ribs and, you know, big tomahawks, or, you know, that brisket. I mean, Owen's brisket sounds pretty damn good to me, you know. But I think right now I'm just feeling that I would just like to have a steak cooked for me by my dad. That would be pretty damn ultimate right now. Yeah.
I think that says everything about you as a cook, because everyone else we've asked has gone straight to just thinking literally about physically what food they want, whereas you have gone for the personality and the experience. Yeah. Which is why I would say to people, if you haven't looked at Cooking with Duke, go on to that Instagram, because
well, that's it.
It's the personality and the fun behind it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, okay, now I know this sounds a little bit weird and on a barbecue podcast, but if you ask me what's barbecue to me, I would say, you know what? It's not even what's on the barbecue. It's the light in the fire. That anticipation of people coming over, the sounds, smell, you know, that beer, that you crack that beer, the credence on the stereo. I mean, just that vibe, you know, like, what's going to happen? You know, like, are we going to have fun? Of course we're going to have fun. Are we going to eat? Of course we're going to eat. Is it going to be delicious? I bet you it's going to be delicious. And, you know, like, whether you're doing, you know, great steaks, or you're like low and slow or anything like that, you know, like, I think, you know, everybody getting together and having a good time, that'd be it. And I think that, you know, obviously people are going to be like saying, well, yeah, idiot, you got to like have some good food, right? But, you know, I think, you know, it's barbecue is like, it's just like, it's the sum of its parts sometimes. Because, yeah, man, I mean, like, I spent a lot of time out there basically cooking for me, because, you know, my wife ain't gonna have it. And, you know, like I said to you, actually, got back from Wingfest on Monday, and I just did a beer chicken did a beer can chicken just because what I call a straight to DVD, you know, it's straight to the fridge, because I'm just going to be packing that and putting it on tacos and sandwiches, and, you know, like, you know, it's, you know, it's a nice smoked barbecue bird that's gonna, you know, have a, is there. I just can go to the fridge now if I'm feeling a bit hungry, and there's some barbecue chicken there waiting for me. So yeah,
you're right though. I don't think anyone would argue with you, particularly over what people have learned over the last 16 months. The barbecue, if there's anything you can take from this podcast, and I want people to take with them, is don't be afraid of cooking outside, because it's great fun and it's an excuse to get together with friends and family and have a good time. Yes, we love our food, but in the grand scheme of things, food is the excuse to get people together.
It's
that experience which there's second to none, and particularly when you've set the fire yourself and everything. I couldn't agree with you more. And what a great sentiment to end this episode on as well. You know what? It's been fantastic talking to you, T.
Hey, well, thank you so much for having me.
I want to call you the Duke. Everyone should just call you the Duke.
But I mean, like I said, I can't wait to get down there. And when I heard that you guys were going down there as well, I was like, yeah, Sizzle Fest. I mean, I know so many people that are. If you see like any of the posts that are coming up about that, you read in the comments and you go, oh, that dude's going as well. That dude's going. That dude's like, man, this is going to be like Instagram live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't performed in a long time. Will my band, The Massive Gamble, turn up? You never know. That's why they call it The Massive Gamble. Will I have to play guitar all by myself on stage for the first time in a long time? I don't know. We'll have the guys behind me. Who knows if we can get the band back together? But I can't wait to get down there to Southampton. It's going to be a blast, and it's going to be so much fun. So, I need to get a babysitter for sure.
Owen and I are going to be walking around with our t-shirts on. So anyone listening who wants to come up and say hello to us, do, because it'll inflate our egos and we'll love that. So don't be afraid to say hello. But do you know what? Thank you so much for your time today, Tim.
Hey, well, thank you very much for having me.
To you. And it's also lovely to speak to someone who knows the podcast inside out as well, which always.
Oh man, I never realized until we hit you hit record that what a fanboy I am. But it's sincere though. I mean, because you said you finished the first season or series, I can't remember. I was like, oh no, that's a shame. I hope they do more. And then I was like, boom! I saw that you got some more. So with that Alfie K kid as well. I mean, wow, what a
he's one to watch.
Future kid that kid's got. I mean, I thought I grew up around barbecue. That guy knows everything. So that's great.
Well, don't worry. Even when series 2 ends, you're not going to see the back of us. We're going to be around for a while.
No, you guys got so much to say. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for having me. And I really appreciate you having me. Thanks, Dan.
That's great. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great evening. Thanks, T.
All right, later, taters. Bye.
Bye. And that's the end of another episode of the Meet and Greet Barbecue podcast. Thank you, T, so much from Cookin with Duke on Instagram and YouTube. Go check out his channels. He is phenomenal in what he does. So passionate about cooking and also just good fun as well. You have to see what he's doing. You can also check us out, of course, across social media. If you search for Meet and Greet Barbecue podcast, also give us a Google and you'll be able to find us online on our website. And if you get the chance, leave us a review on however you listen to the podcast, whether it be iTunes, whether it be Acast. There's lots of different ways. Spotify. Go on there, leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you as well. Do message us directly either on Instagram or through the website. You can always drop us an email and we'd love to hear from you. And finally, if you are watching on YouTube, please do like, subscribe and follow everything we've got coming up, as well as episodes of the podcast. We will be doing the odd video differently as well. So you'll get extra content by following us on YouTube. And finally, a big thank you to the Smoke and Fire Festival who have partnered with us for Series 2. It's going to be in Colchester from the 20th to the 22nd of August. Have a look. You might still be able to get tickets, but either way, there is going to be some fantastic cooking going on there. And this appears to be the last episode of Series 2 as well of the Meet and Greet Barbecue podcast. Thank you so much for supporting us, for listening to us, and also getting in contact and suggesting what you'd like to hear. We will be putting together a Series 3 that will be coming out in the next few months. But thank you so much for all the support. It means so much for us. And until next time, keep on grilling.